So the materials you'll need will be water, brush pens in a blue, green, and then also a colorless blender. If you don't have a colorless blender, you can use a paintbrush with water. And you will need a piece of watercolor paper. I use the Canson XL watercolor paper. It's 140-pound weight, so it's fairly thick and it can withstand the water and the juiciness of the Karin markers that I will use with them. You don't have to use Karin markers. You can use other kinds of brush pens, but these I find work best with this technique. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to start by writing the word Earth Day in honor of Earth Day. And what you don't see here is me dipping my blender pen in water. So first you want to dip your blender pen in water and you're going to write out the first letter of your word. So you can choose any word. I just chose Earth Day because that works for me. And as I'm writing the word, you want to make sure that the whole letter is wet before you add your colors. So as you can see, mine is pretty wet if you look at it. Some areas might have little puddles. You just want to make sure that it's not dry. If it's dry, you're not going to get like the tie-dye effect. So I'm just kind of randomly adding in my colors. You can do it in a certain pattern or you can just add them in wherever. And the magic really happens once it starts to dry. That's when you really see the cool tie-dye watercolor effect. So I'm going to do the same thing with the next letter. I'm going to dip it in water, dip my blender pen in water, and then add the colors. And a lot of times I get people asking, well, doesn't this ruin your pens by dipping it in the water and then dipping your colored pens in the water? And the answer to that is no. And the reason why is because the pens, as you start to write with them, even if they do, like let's say the blue, even if it does get water in it, it's going to come out. The water isn't going to transfer all the way back up into the pen just because of the way that gravity works. So the water will just stay within the nib. And then as you're drawing or writing, that water is going to come out of there. So as you can see, I just continue doing the same process, dipping my pen in the water and then writing with my blender pen and checking to make sure that the whole letter is wet before I start adding the color. And I will say, if you add too much water and you get too many puddles, then it will have a lot of clear areas. So if you're going for that look with more clear or white areas, then that's fine to add a lot more water. But if you don't want that, then try to keep the water level to a minimum. So you want it to be just moist, but not fully sopping like with puddles. Otherwise, you'll get a lighter effect. As you can see on some of the other colors that have dried already, it's already starting to get that tie-dye effect. And then I just wrote the word day with a black brush pen. And that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple as that. It would be great to try out different colors and see what you guys come up with. So tag me in your pictures on Instagram and let me know what color combinations you guys come up with.